Hi everyone, in this video I'm gonna predict the 48 teams that will qualify to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. And also I'm gonna do a draw simulation of the group stage. Let's begin with the qualified teams in Europe. Germany, Sweden, Denmark, France, Spain, Portugal, Netherlands, Austria, Norway, Belgium, England, and Croatia will qualify directly to the World Cup. And I think Italy, Switzerland, Turkey, and Scotland will qualify through the playoffs. Let's move on to CONCACAF now. Canada, Mexico, and USA have qualified as host nations. And I think Costa Rica, Jamaica, and Panamá will qualify directly, and Guatemala will qualify through the playoffs. The qualified teams in South America will be Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, Paraguay, and Uruguay. In Asia, Australia, Iran, Japan, Jordan, South Korea, and Uzbekistan have already qualified. And I think that Qatar and Saudi Arabia will qualify in the next round. In Africa, the qualified teams will be Egypt, Senegal, South Africa, Cape Verde, Morocco, Ivory Coast, Algeria, Tunisia, and Ghana. And I think DR Congo will be one of the qualified teams through the playoffs. And finally, New Zealand is a qualified team in OFC. Now, let's move on to the draw simulation. The 48 teams will be divided into 12 groups of 4. Let's begin with pot number 1. The strongest teams are in this pot, and Mexico will go into Group A, and Canada will go into Group B. The next team is Argentina, the world champions, will go into Group C, and USA will go into Group D. The next team is Germany into Group E, and France into Group F. The next team is Netherlands into Group G, and Belgium will go into Group H. The next team is England into Group I, and Brazil into Group J. 2 teams left. Portugal will go into Group K, and finally Spain, the European champions, into Group L. Let's move on to pot number 2 now. I think Croatia, Morocco, Colombia, and Uruguay are the strongest teams in this pot, and Croatia will go into Group A with Mexico, Iran into Group B. The next team is Senegal into Group C with Argentina. Colombia will go into Group D with USA. Austria will join Group E. Japan will go into Group F. The next team is Uruguay, will go into Group G with Netherlands. Australia into Group H. South Korea will go into England's group. Denmark will join Brazil in Group J, and Ecuador into Group K with Portugal. Finally, Morocco will join Spain in Group L. Let's move on to pot number 3. I think Sweden, Norway, and Paraguay are the strongest teams in this pot. Ivory Coast will join Mexico and Croatia in Group A. Sweden will go into Canada's group. Costa Rica will join Argentina in Group C. Norway will go into Group D with USA and Colombia. Panama will go into Group E. Egypt into Group F. The next team is Algeria. Group G for Algeria, and South Africa will go into Group H. The next team is Paraguay, will go into England's group. Qatar will join Brazil and Denmark. 2 teams left, and Tunisia will go into Portugal's group, and Uzbekistan will go into Spain's group. And finally, pot number 4, I think Saudi Arabia, Ghana, and the European teams are the strongest teams. And Jordan will go into Group A, and Mexico versus Jordan could be the opening match of the World Cup. DR Congo will go into Canada's group. The next team is Turkey. Turkey will go into Group C. And now Ghana will go into Group D. Very difficult group. The next team is Saudi Arabia. Will go into Germany's group. The next team is New Zealand. New Zealand will go into Group F with France. The next team is Jamaica. Will go into Group G. The next team will go into Group H with Belgium, and it's Switzerland. The next team will join England, and it's Scotland into England's group. The next team is Cape Verde, will go into Group J, and 2 teams left. Italy will go into Portugal's group, very difficult group. And finally, the last team of the draw is Guatemala, and Guatemala will go into Group L. The draw is over now. I think Group D with USA, Colombia, Norway, and Ghana is a very difficult group. Also, Group I with England, Paraguay, Scotland, and South Korea could be very interesting. But the most difficult group is Group K with Portugal, Tunisia, Italy, and Ecuador. Tell me in the comments if you wanna see a full prediction of this tournament, and thanks for watching.